This happened back in 2015, October 31st, the night of Halloween. I was just chilling in my living room watching TV when all of a sudden Sam texts me. We should all hang out at my place. In a group chat that consisted of 6 of us. Me, Sam. Sam also has a dog named Sky. Alex, Josh, James, and Matthew. We all either lived in the same neighborhood or relatively close. Luckily for me and Sam lived in the same neighborhood, so I decided to walk. The time it takes me to walk to Sam's house is roughly about 10 to 15 minutes. I made sure that everything was locked when I left my house. But the second I left my house, and I do mean the second I left my house, I felt a presence that I couldn't explain, but it went away shortly. Thank God. I noticed kids and adults and pretty much everybody in my neighborhood in costumes. And people in costumes already put me on edge. So as I'm walking to Sam's house, I hear footsteps behind me. I never look back in fear of what I may see. But it was like the person behind me was keeping the same pace I was. So when I slowed down, they slowed down. When I sped up, they sped up. I decided to not play games and run like hell to Sam's house. When I finally got to his house, I was banging on the door and yelling his name. When he saw that it was me, he opened the door. I rushed inside, closed the door, and immediately locked the locks on the door. Sam asked questions, but I was too scared and shook enough to even answer him. I just kept looking out the peephole to see if that person was anywhere near. But I didn't know who it was because they were still kind of blurry. But the closer they got, the more clearer they got. Come to find out, it was Josh from the chat. I opened the door and yelled out, "You dick!" Because I was so scared, I didn't realize that everyone else was already here at Sam's house. It took me a while to relax, but I eventually did. Matthew decided we should all play Uno Drinks. It's basically Uno, but you're drunk. But before we did, everyone else had to take care of a few things. Sam had to feed his dog. Josh got the drinks ready. Alex was putting together the music playlist. Matthew was on the phone with his girl. James had to go to the bathroom. And that just left me in the living room by myself for like 6 to 7 minutes. And while I was waiting, I felt that presence again, like before. When everyone got back in the living room, I told Sam to make sure that all doors, windows, and vents were locked. Sam came back to the living room and Matthew started shuffling the cards. About 30 minutes had passed and we're still playing Uno. But by now, everyone is either tipsy or drunk. Before we start the next game, I told them to wait while I used the bathroom. I couldn't really walk right and I kept moving things. But I finally made it to the bathroom. As I'm using the bathroom, I felt the presence again. I thought I noticed a pair of eyes looking at me through the window. I thought because I was drunk, I was just seeing things. So I rubbed my eyes and looked again. And it was gone. So I shrugged it off. I flushed the toilet and tried to wash my hands. I went back to the living room and continued to play Uno. Several minutes passed and out of the blue, Sky barked and then cried. We all looked at each other and ran out where Sky was. But Sky was gone. Nowhere to be seen. I then told everybody to hush. Did you hear that? We all ran back inside and Alex was the last one inside the house. We're now in the middle of the living room. We are all shaking and scared out of our minds. Seconds felt like minutes. Minutes felt like hours. As Sam reached for his phone to call 911, the lights cut off. And then we heard the back door open. "Why didn't you lock the door behind you, Alex?" he said. I thought I did. It is now in the house, and we're stuck with it. It's getting closer and closer. And right before it attacks, I felt that presence once again. It stopped. That thing stopped right in front of us. We all opened our eyes and it was just frozen. It quickly ran out the way it came in. We were all shocked and confused. But what was even more weird was that everyone was looking at me, as if I caused that thing to run away. My friends couldn't understand, and I couldn't explain it. But nevertheless, we were all glad it left, and now we're in safe hands. Or so we thought. We all then hauled us back to our homes, and Sam locked himself in a safe house. When I got home, I immediately woke up my mom and told her everything that happened. She told me to calm down and that everything was going to be okay. I told her that I kept feeling a presence that I couldn't explain, and basically told me that we're not like everybody else. That presence that you feel, that goes back generations. I have it, my mother had it, her dad had it, and so forth. She told me that the presence isn't anything bad or something that you should be scared of. It only comes out when you're either about to be or already in danger. It's like a very big bodyguard that you can't see but you can feel. After she told me this, we both felt that presence again and heard that thing light outside our house. It literally tore the top half of our house clean off. And there we were, me and my mom holding hands while we have a stare off with this thing that was definitely not from this world. With each second that passed, the feeling of the presence increased at a rapid pace, and right before it attacks, it freezes and runs away faster than it did before. We knew, from that moment on, no one or nothing could ever harm us.